What's going on, world? Welcome to another TYSK report. Before we begin, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get you informed about what's happening in the world of tech. Hyundai and Kia now qualify for the federal EV tax credit. 5 electric vehicles from Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis now qualify for the US's $7,500 EV tax credit, Electric reports. The new models include popular vehicles like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 crossover SUV and Kia EV9 3-row family hauler. Now, 25 EVs and plug-in hybrids across 10 brands qualify for the credit. The Biden administration's EV tax credit rules mandate building vehicles in North America for eligibility and include additional requirements for sourcing battery components. In 2022, Hyundai and Kia threatened to take legal action against Biden's Inflation Reduction Act after it expanded the available credits but left the EVs they were building in Korea ineligible for them. Now that Hyundai has opened up a $7.6 billion EV manufacturing plant in Georgia to produce the NACS-equipped 2025 Ioniq 5 and the upcoming Ioniq 9 3-row SUV, its vehicles are eligible. Now, unless Congress votes to eliminate the program, Hyundai and Kia buyers could still get the incentive for the 2025 tax year or take advantage of it through a lease. The New York Times recently reported that Trump could try to take other actions without Congress by eliminating the credit for leases or taking down websites with information about the program. So with Trump heading into office in the next few weeks and the months after that, we will soon find out what Trump is going to do and also what's going to happen related to this. And also we will find out if Congress is going to have something to say about it. But one interesting thing I wanted to point out related to this article was, right now from my perspective, Hyundai and Kia are taking the place of Toyota and Honda. Now, Toyota and Honda have been known to be very popular brands that US consumers would want to buy from. But now, since the world is moving away from traditional ICE vehicles over to electric vehicles, Hyundai and Kia could now be those popular electric vehicle brands within the eyes of US consumers, and they could soon have that stamp of approval as Toyota and Honda do within the automotive space. Now, in relation to this, when it comes to Toyota and Honda, they could possibly find themselves on the brink of being in trouble and not being able to innovate enough to stay in competition with the likes of Hyundai and Kia and also other electric vehicles like the Teslas and also the Rivians and other companies building electric vehicles. So a lot of interesting things are going to happen related to the electric vehicle space, and as more news continues to pop up, I'll make sure to keep you informed. Now, since we're speaking about Korean brands, let's go ahead and talk about Samsung. Samsung smart fridges will use AI to suggest groceries to buy on Instacart. Samsung smart fridges will soon be able to identify when you're running low on something and add items to your Instacart app so you can order what you need from the grocery delivery service right from your fridge. Samsung announced a multi-year partnership with Instacart that will let you shop for groceries from the screen on your Samsung bespoke fridge. According to the press release, the tech uses Samsung's Vision AI food recognition technology to identify what you have in your fridge and determine what you're running low on. Then, using Instacart's product matching API, it suggests items from the service you might need and lets you order them from the fridge. Samsung says the locally based AI can recognize up to 37 food items, including fresh fruits and vegetables. You can also manually input details of other items to your food list on the Samsung Food app on the fridge or on your phone. So that's just some of the latest news when it comes to Samsung. And with this article, I'm starting to think that one day we could have all types of smart technology within our homes. So not only will we have a smart fridge, we would also have a smart stove, a smart microwave, a smart bed, a smart toilet, a smart sink, all this different smart technology. So as we continue to move into this technological revolution and lots of things start to change and lots of artificial intelligence is being integrated 5 to 10 years from now, those ideas that I just brought up could be a reality. In the next article we have, online gift card store expose hundreds of thousands of people's identity documents. A U.S. online gift card store has secured an online storage server that was publicly exposing hundreds of thousands of customer government issue identity documents to the internet. A security researcher who goes by the online handle JLT found the publicly exposed storage storage server late last year containing driving licenses, passports, and other identity documents belonging to My Gift Card Supply, a company that sells digital gift cards for customers to redeem at popular brands and online services. My Gift Card Supply's website says it requires customers to upload a copy of their identity documents as part of its compliance effort with U.S. anti-money laundering rules, often known as Know Your Customer checks or KYC. According to JLT, the exposed data hosted on Microsoft's Azure cloud contained over 600,000 front and back images of identity documents and selfie photos of around 200,000 customers. So this is just an update that if you are someone who has used My Gift Card Supply, your identity or your information could definitely possibly be out there. So this is just something to be mindful of. But also with this article, it goes to show that with a lot of the different technology that we use on a day-to-day basis, the information that we give to these companies, whether it's a driver's license, a passport, date of birth, social security number, there's always that possibility now more than before where that data could be leaked out. So as time moves on and the technology continues to grow and we will find ourselves interacting with technology more and more on a day-to-day basis, it's always important to take some time to research those different companies that you interact with to see what they're doing with the data and to make sure that they are protecting it the way they should be. Let's move on to the next article. New ship, new year. SpaceX to deploy model Starlink satellites on next Starship launch. SpaceX is significantly upping the ante of its Starship test flight program, with the next rocket launch expected to demonstrate payload deployment for the first time. The payload in question will be 10 Starlink simulators that will be similar in size and weight to the next-gen satellites SpaceX plans to use Starship to deploy in space. These model spacecraft will travel on the same trajectory as the upper stage, which is also called Starship, and splash down in the Indian Ocean. The operational version of these satellites, called V3, will likely be the first real payload Starship flies. Indeed, bringing Starship online is the linchpin to SpaceX plans to more rapidly deploy its Starlink satellite constellation and reduce the cost per satellite launch. Thanks to Starship's incredible payload capacity, SpaceX has said it plans to deploy 60 V3 satellites per Starship launch, which will add 60 terabytes per second of capacity to the Starlink network. So this is just some of the latest news related to Starlink, and as we go more into 2025, we will hear lots and lots more about Starlink and SpaceX and the different enhancements that can come to the SpaceX ships and also the Starlink satellites. Also with this news, I am thinking that we are on the verge where satellite connectivity is going to be on the rise, and as I stated in the previous video, this could be the go-to connectivity platform where telecom companies are going to start to phase out due to the reliability and all the other positive things that comes with satellites, especially Starlink satellites. Now, since we're speaking about satellites, let's go ahead and talk about satellites and electric vehicles. Scout Motors EVs will have satellite connectivity. Volkswagen offshoot Scout Motors is getting a jump start on CES 2025 with some good news for people who plan to take the company's EVs way outdoors. The forthcoming Traveler SUV and Terra pickup will have a built-in satellite connection. Scout Motors isn't saying where it's sourcing the satellite link-up hardware from or who the service provider will be. All it's saying at the moment is that the vehicles will be pre-wired from the factory and that the hotspot is intended to have broad reach to help drivers and passengers stay connected in and around their vehicle. The company only just unveiled its first two vehicles in October, and they're not due until 2027. So with this news related to this company, because 2027 is such a long time, and I know that's only 2 years, but so much happens within a year within the world of technology. So 2 years, a lot more is going to happen. More electric vehicle companies are going to put out more models, make their current models better, and then you're going to have the traditional companies fighting to gain more market share within the electric vehicle space. So with Scout Motors having to wait 2 years, they could possibly find themselves not even being able to get ahead, and this would be a waste of time. But with this article, I wanted to point out that satellite connectivity, this article could possibly be an introduction into what's going to be integrated into future electric vehicles related to all brands. Also, this goes to show you that the power of the satellites is going to begin to show its dominance as time moves along. So we could start to see the likes of the Starlinks and the Amazon Kuipers and other companies building out satellite technology being utilized for more different use cases where much stronger connectivity is needed. So this is just something to be mindful of as we begin to groove along and get comfortable in 2025. And if any other information arises related to this, I'll make sure to keep you updated. Up next, let's talk about Lyft. Lyft will credit NYC riders for congestion fee throughout January. New York City's congestion pricing is scheduled to take effect Sunday, but for the first month, Lyft said it will be crediting riders who pay the fee. New York's program, which is supposed to reduce traffic in Lower Manhattan while also raising funding for mass transit, was paused by Governor Kathy Hochul in June, then eventually reinstated at a reduced price. There are different prices for different vehicles at different times. During daytime hours, it will cost $9 to drive a regular car in Manhattan below 60th Street, while someone using a ride-hailing service like Uber or Lyft will pay $1.50 per ride. Lyft passengers will be charged like everyone else, but the company said that throughout January, they'll get the money back in credits that can be spent on Lyft or City Bike for the following week. For some reason, I think this is an introduction into a long-term plan to have autonomous vehicles take people to different places. Now, because it will cost $9 to drive a regular car, and then with every Lyft ride, it will be $1.50, more people might gravitate towards that Lyft option. And if they do that, there's going to be more need for the Lyft ride-hailing service to be used. Now, as it's used more and more, they can collect even more data related to this pricing and these different times and what's going on, which could be utilized when they integrate a lot of autonomous technology. And last year, towards the end of the year, there were different partnerships that they made with companies like May Mobility to integrate autonomous technology. So as time moves on and more people gravitate towards using ride-hailing services, they would be more likely inclined to transition over to have an autonomous vehicle drive them where they need to go. And also personally, if you're someone out there in that area who's driving often and you're going to have to pay that $9 consistently, that could add up over time. So we'll see how all of this plays out as time moves along. And of course, I'll make sure to keep you updated. Up next, we have Ford is extending its free at-home EV charging promotion. Ford launched its Power Promise initiative in October that included a free home electric vehicle charger with installation for new EV buyers. The promotion was initially scheduled to end on January 2nd, but now Ford is extending it into the first few months of 2025. Starting a few days ago, Ford says its Power Promise promotion will run through March 31st, 2025, giving U.S. customers who buy a new model year 2024 or 2025 Mustang Mach-E, F-150 Lightning, or E-Transit more time to take advantage of the perks. Those include the complimentary home charger with standard installation, 24/7 customer support for charging questions, and complimentary roadside assistance. The Ford Power Promise extension comes following a best ever quarter for EV sales at the automaker, according to Ford spokesperson Suzanne Evans. So this is just some of the latest news related to Ford, and it's great to hear that they have some positive news related to their EV sales, but they are still a traditional company, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with them as time moves along and more companies continue to put out their models and more incentives related to what they're going to do with their electric vehicles. And also with this news, it shows that companies are finding a way to bring more charging capabilities related to the electric vehicles that people purchase. So as the infrastructure continues to be built out, people who have electric vehicles may start to have these chargers installed to their home. And then also I could definitely see lots of chargers being installed at apartment complexes or places nearby where people can charge their electric vehicle, and one day they will be as familiar to us as the gas stations that we see on a day-to-day basis. So that's just some of the latest news when it comes to the world of technology. I hope you enjoyed the video. So to continue to stay informed on what's happening in the world of tech, check out these two videos right here and comment down below in the comment sections of those videos what you think, and stay tuned for more.